If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Alongside my twin flame, Sif Gunnarsdottir, I'm Rocken Larry Locken. And tonight we're going to bring to you a talk about transmuting light frequencies. We're going to discuss the transmutation of light frequencies and also discuss things like the difference between vibration and frequency. And without any further ado, I'd like to bring on my better three quarters, much better three quarters, Sif Gunnarsdottir, all the way from Denmark. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, honey.
Oh, good, good. Absolutely. I know you were fascinating me with some of the stuff we were talking about in the pre-show regarding, the differences between frequency and vibration. And I never really thought about it has a difference. I guess it is different, but you want to start out with maybe explaining that. That's what comes to my mind. I kind of wanted to hear you explain that again to
me. Yeah, people are using the terms vibration and frequency alongside of each other, but there is actually a little bit of difference. When you look at frequency, it has both length and height. And if you think about it as a graph, the waves you see, how high they go, that is the frequency. And the space between the waves, that is the vibration. So it's how fast this energy is going is the vibration, and how high it's going is the frequency.
At what point do those two interlude with each other? I mean, they obviously work hand in hand, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point do the two does vibration and frequency do they have to have each other to coexist per se? I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yes, they do, but people are using this when we have to raise the overall frequency. We have to raise the vibration of your energy. It's used as the same term when people want to raise both, actually, to raise the overall energy levels. But so they are really dependent of each other, and they follow each other. So it doesn't really matter if you raise your vibration, energy is going faster.
If you raise your energy, so like if you raise your of course, if you raise your vibration, does that enable you to tune into more and more frequencies, to become more tuned into the various multitude of frequencies that exist within the universe, whether it's with another soul, with a planet, with the cosmos, creation?
Yeah. Yes, because when you meet a person, your body, of course, picks up energy. We all do that, and the researchers have shown that the heart, for instance, have magnetic energy that actually picks up stuff that our brain doesn't. Way before our brain does, actually. They pick up both the vibration and the frequency, and you click with the people that matches your overall vibration and frequency. It's like when you have certain energies that are measured in music in hertz, and put two graphs on top of each other, like they are, the more you click with people, and these signatures can also be almost like a fingerprint from your soul groups. Because people within the same soul group, they often vibrate with the same energy frequency.
Does every soul transmute at least some form of light frequency?
Yes, every single soul does, yes.
Okay.
We all do.
But what might be the difference between somebody, of course, and this may sound like a redundant question, but what would be the difference between somebody transmuting a low amount of light frequency per se versus somebody, you know, of course, who transmutes a high volume of it?
It often depends on the person itself, where they are at in their journey called life. Not all people are spiritual, so I can't really use or yes, all people are spiritual. Let me rephrase that. But many people aren't aware of the spirituality and go through life happily without ever coming in touch with or deny the existence of these things that you and I and many of our friends do on daily basis. Everybody have this. I'm not going anywhere with this.
Well, so does it lay dormant in those people that never realize their spirituality, or can it still be affecting others around them, their frequency?
It can affect others. Of course, it can affect others. But being aware of it helps you consciously raise your energy, so you can rise above certain situations and see the situation from a helicopter perspective more than a person doesn't have the ability to do so or denies the ability. The person that's not into spirituality can raise its vibration and frequency just as well as the other persons, but it might take a little longer time.
Okay, I see. That's fascinating. Wow. So it comes down to, is it all dependent on, would you say, lifestyle choices? Does it have to do with environment? I mean, somebody who's, you know, been a real grouchy gloom past lately, can they still be transmitting a high volume of light? You know, maybe, you know, they're having some emotional issues that they're dealing with at the time. I know certainly it must cut down on it, but I mean, it seems like there must be a lot of factors that go into it versus it's just somebody's lifestyle choice or their environment or whatnot. Wouldn't it be a combination of all those things, and in their spirituality as well, of course?
Absolutely. It's a combination of where you're born, your culture, your environment, your overall situation, surroundings, also your personality, everything. It helps having a positive attitude, positive thoughts, positive attitude vibrates at a higher level than negativity in general. But I want to emphasize that even though people are being shitty to you, even if they are negative, that is also a help to you to raise your vibration or to raise your frequency to actually they are helping you to become they're helping you to vibrate higher. It's all from love, and that's really hard for many people to understand, that negativity and bad things can be out of love. But think, if we are here to help each other raise our frequency, some people have to take the role of the bad guy, and that actually takes a lot of courage from a soul. If you make these soul contracts before you come down to earth, it takes a lot of courage from these souls to do this, because there are consequences of being a bad person, you know?
Well, it sounds like a real test of patience for some, you know what I mean? For some to accept that concept. And I mean, of course, by raising your patience, it raises your vibration. Anything that you can do to improve, lessen your ego, of course, lessen your judgment, or get into a no judgment state of mind with very, very little ego, maybe the 5% edge that you still need here, you know, on an Earth 3D plane, you know. But so it just depends. And how does that play into, say, you know, intimate relationships with people? I mean, the light frequency, do they both have to be at that same growth level or close to, would you say, in your opinion, to really make it a successful go of it? Or
it helps. It helps being at the similar vibrational level, because you are quicker to understand where the other person is coming from, but it doesn't have to be that way. And of course, in all relationships, people's efforts to keep the relationship flowing and going is the most important thing, and the attitude towards each other to listen actually is the key here, to listen and understand.
To not take things so personal, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
When you were talking earlier, I was thinking it sounds like the difference between tunnel vision, of course, like I always say, tunnel vision, and having great peripheral vision, you know, the ability to kind of see above the situation and understand that it's not personal. You know, that person is who they are and on their growth path, and it's not necessarily, well, rarely is it ever that they're just out to be the way they are to get you. You know what I mean? And I think, I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but a lot of people seem to, in the heat of the moment, it's real easy to forget that, you know, and take things personal. And I was just wondering what you think. Do you think that, have you seen, as far as in your honest opinion with the starseed community, do you think that that's a situation where, as a collective, the frequency has been raising, the vibration's been raising, and things of that nature? And what are some of the things and deficiencies that you still see, if any, you know, as far as what we deal with out there?
I've been awake, like people are talking about, always being awake and aware since I was born. It's 45 years next month, so it's quite a time, and I've been waiting for a long time to get to this point today where we are at. Actually, there have been a tremendous amount of changes the past year or so, and we are getting there slowly, but people still flock around main ideas. I find it very look inside themselves for answers before they throw out questions to the groups they are in, for instance. I'm not judging that. Some people need that on their journey, but we all have this knowledge within us, and we all have the opportunity to connect with our guides. People just don't have the patience to listen, and that's a starseed trait. The starseeds are in general very impatient. Things have to happen yesterday. That's okay.
Yeah, it sure is. But then a lot of some of us see above that, some of us starseeds, and when we first awaken, okay, we're asking questions, but we're also going and doing the research all over, you know, YouTube, Google, you know, looking for ourselves, discerning for ourselves, and then we may, you know, bounce that idea off of somebody else that we may resonate with, right? That we may meet in the groups. But I feel like I can tell the difference when somebody's asking a question when they've never done that and they want you to answer the question or do the work for them. I mean, I sound like a broken record. I've brought this up probably, you know, 3 or 4 dozen times on the show over the years. And you know, they just want to know, and it's like okay, they could go get the answer or answers quicker than I could type it to them and tell it to them. And it's just like they just want to know that, and then before you're even done answering that, they want to, you know, ask something else. They just, you know, they're wanting to pick and choose what they want, but they're not willing to go out and do the research to pick and choose. You know what I mean? They want to go right to somebody and ask them, and, you know, not even let the person. It's one thing to resonate with some of what somebody says and then not resonate with some of what they say, but, you know, if you're going to go there, listen to what they have to say. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes. And yes, there are many people that do their own research. Of course, I'm not judging anybody for doing that, because everybody needs to go their own path, and that's what I really want to see with people. But we are still such herd animals that we jump on people's ideas often without thinking for ourselves what the idea is really about and if it's true. But back to the transmuting thing and the main event of this show. We all come here. We are all born at a certain frequency, and we all transmute energy lives. Whether we are acting like jerks or being, we all transmute this energy, and the surroundings pick up on the energy we transmute, and we get the response we deserve, and we attract by the energy we transmute. So you can see if you're coming from a good place, having a positive attitude, the things that bounce back to you are of the same frequency or higher. If you are stuck in the negative side of life or situation, and you emit the frequency, that is what you get back too.
Right. That kind of answers my question, I guess. I was going to say, well, I understand that, it's our growth path to, work on our own frequencies and do that and put yourself in a good place. But still, at the same time, can the lower vibrations from the rest of the collective wear on you as well? I mean, I'm sure that they can, but I mean, what are some things that a person can do on their growth path, while they're transmuting light and doing the things that they feel like they need to do? What are some of the things they can also do to maybe protect themselves from letting, that energy from the rest of the collective drag them completely down? Are there things that can be done to minimize that?
Yes, there is. Oh, there are a lot of things. First of all, I'm a big fan of Don Miguel Ruiz, the man who wrote the book Four Agreements. That book actually changed my life. It is teaching you how to be true to yourself, really, and how to take nothing personally. Nothing that happens around you is about you, really. How people react to you, how people are talking to you, isn't about you. It's about them.
Right. So if somebody says, "Hey, you suck," don't let it drag your day down.
Exactly. And if you see someone being harsh or shitty or something, you might want to take a step back and look at it from a different angle and say, why is the person behaving like this? Especially if you know that person and know how they is and know how they are on a daily basis. You might want to take a look again and say, why is this person acting like this? What's the deal? And often when people are angry and acting out of anger and emotion, it's because they are hurting. Hurt is the basic feeling underneath anger.
That's true.
People are, and they feel, often people feel powerless, and they don't have the tools to get out of the ditch they are in, and that creates anger. I'm stuck here. I can't do anything with this. Fuck it all.
Yeah, it breeds frustration, lots of anger, and it can be acted out in a multitude of ways, whether it's really emotional, teariness, or just really anger and resentment. And, it can really, really build up in a person if they don't know how to express it, or they're in a situation where maybe there's some part of it they don't have control over. Yeah, but it still comes back to, it's within them. It's not per se a resentment towards anybody in general, and maybe somebody that's affecting the situation they're in directly, but that generally isn't the case. Usually when somebody's angry and pissed off like that, they're just kind of mad at themselves and they're mad at the world, and I find myself falling into that sometimes.
Exactly. And also people, I do that unfortunately, I end up in that situation myself that I don't remember to ground myself too well. I'm better. I'm getting better at it, but grounding your energies
You're good
helps
at it.
you.
You're always telling me to do it. You know what I mean? I'm the one who needs to ground myself a lot of the time, and you're always that grounding force for me. That's surprising to find out, actually, that it's, you know, something that's not easy for you, because it seems like it comes so natural when I just watch you flow.
Yeah, I have to remind myself of that in some situations. But I am getting at that point that when I feel my energies are not focused within me, I ground myself instantly, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. The energies today, people are still a bit stuck in the old energy thought form. The energies today, they are such a for quantum physics that it happens almost instantly when you think the thought. So
You
you can
mean
think, I am grounded, and just visualize the roots from the soles of your feet into the middle of the earth, and boom, you're grounded.
you mean you don't need to go to a new age club like 30 years ago and do telekinesis for 18 hours in a row in with your legs crossed?
Yes. No, you don't. You, you definitely don't have to practice it for 18 hours. No. And the same thing, that's the if you have the new healing techniques, when I'm healing people and emitting this long distance healings, it happens instantly, and every bit of energy that people are getting are actually there within the first 5 minutes, and the rest is up to people how long they want to soak in the energy. I can sit here in Denmark and follow the press and follow what happens and tell people afterwards for as long as they want to. If it's normally between 20 minutes and 30 minutes it takes. But the thing is that the healing has happened within the first 5 minutes.
So what you're
It's really
right, honey. So what you're telling me is basically, it sounds like we've gone in just a few decades or even a decade from needing to travel a million miles to get somewhere to just a couple of feet to get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like you're saying that this stuff is almost manifested by the right thought form instantly. As far as I know, we were talking the other day about, you know, you can protect, you don't have to smudge, you can visualize this in your mind and lay down protective crystals and do mental.
exactly.
I think that you were telling me about that the other day, you know, in reference to an exchange you had with, you know, somebody in one of the
Yes,
groups.
yes, because
Wasn't that the
thinking the
gentleman?
thought, you
Yeah, that was the gentleman who wanted to grow a whole bunch of sage and plant a bunch of crystals all over his house and property.
no, he wanted to clear a bad energy from his property and wanted to buy a lot of quartz crystals to bury in the ground. And I said, you can save yourself money because you can do that in your mind. You can visualize a crystal. That's your thoughts are energy. And you
Would
can
you?
visualize a crystal and plant it. You can do it even in your apartment to protect your house or apartment. You can place crystals in every corner just in your mind and see the light flashing in it and coming down into the crystals, and ask the crystal to keep this protective energy in it to to uh, to keep every negativity out of your house, and clear out any negative energy that's in the house already. And that's what everybody can do.
You're creating this on an etheric level. It sounds like you're creating this on a, you know, on a higher dimensional density. You're on a etheric level. You're creating, visualizing this and surrounding the protection. I was just wondering if that gentleman too. I was just wondering if maybe you might recommend that he get a tinfoil hat and sleep with it.
No, 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 he is actually quite advanced when it comes to techniques like this. But he wanted to do it both ways. He wanted to do it both with physical crystals and not. And that's what I say. You have to find your own path. You never can tell people exactly what to do. They have to find it within themselves. It's their own frequency and vibration that sets the path. And what vibrates with you doesn't have to vibrate with me, and vice versa.
Well, you can't say he wasn't covering all bases for sure. You know, I mean, you know, whatever a person needs to feel secure with, you know, if that's what they need to feel secure, it's not a, you know, doing it because of the guilt trip, because some guru or somebody at a new age healing center, or, you know, somebody at the ancient mystery school told them to wear a tinfoil hat and spin around 50 times and, you know, chant rah, 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 you know. I mean, it's what resonates.
Exactly.
Right. And if he feels like he needs to do that to be safe, you know, and protected, then, you know, more power to him. And, you know, everybody's got to do what they need to do. But I think that's interesting about being able to manifest that in your mind. Would you recommend, is there meditations? Are you more able to do that if you can clear your mind and maybe meditate and visualize it? Or you try to do that in a, I don't know, a semi-dream state, or you just focus real hard? I mean, what would, you know, I guess any of them would work depending on who you are, you know, it's just a matter of the right focus, right?
Yes, it is. Sorry, my computer is lagging a little bit. I just think like a thought. It's just like a thought. You don't have to be in a certain meditative state of mind to do it. But whatever suits you, again, whatever suits you. If you find it better to be in a meditation and doing it in a meditation, then you do it, of course. You do what comes most easily to you. You don't have to always take the more difficult road. The energies are such that your manifestations, they are instant. And you can do so much more with your mind than you really think. And people often talk themselves out of doing things and manifesting what they want. But now we are into manifestation. That's a kind of vibration as well. But
right, it's getting off.
That's a whole nother show, really.
Whole nother show, sweetie. But I was going to ask you too. As far as when you're transmuting, okay, we understand, of course, it would only make sense, of course, that, you know, transmuting a high volume of frequency and light, right? You're going to, people around you are going to pick up on that, and people around you can benefit from that good vibration. But can it also be to a point where you're transmuting at such a high, you know, vibration, or not, you know, a high light frequency, you know, it's such a high frequency that people can't handle that, you know, people that may not be anywhere near that, I don't know, level in their growth pattern? And do you think that can be kind of troublesome for them to be around somebody of such a high frequency, or transmute a great deal of light frequency compared to the rest?
Yes, yes, that's very possible. A good example, our friend Raquel Toombs, I love you, girl. She told me once she was taking a drive with her mom.
Who did you say? Who's Raquel Toombs? Okay, Raquel. Anyway, go on. I love you, Raquel.
She was taking a tour in her car with her mom, and she was talking about some spiritual stuff, and her mom tells her, "Don't show me things I'm not." And that often happens when you are vibrating at a higher frequency and people meet you. They are flashed all the areas they need to work on themselves, and that triggers them in the. And they often don't understand why you make them feel that way. And people often feel uncomfortable around you because your light is too high for them. They are not ready to see all their shadow sides you are casting your light on.
That really makes the most sense I've ever heard in a long time. Exactly, because I'm thinking of situations like that that I've seen, either been a part of or witnessed, secondhand, and it just really seems like that's what it's doing. It's, and it hurts because somebody who's trying to transmute that light, in the past we may have got our feelings hurt or and not quite realize that it was just because of that, because you were, forcing these other people, unbeknownst to you, to take a look at the issues that they had within themselves, and that would always come back out as anger or negativity or really hurtful behavior towards that. But really what it is it's just you're making them uncomfortable because they're having to face their and I think we've all been there a time or two on the other end too. Something makes you face your shit, as we say here on earth, you know what I mean? And Sparky would agree too. He's barking. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, this.
Yeah. No. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
my computer is lagging so terribly. I can't even click on the microphone without it having a box. No, it's really true, and that's why it's so important for us to raise our frequency. We can understand more things when we do, and there are so many easy ways to do it. It's just it's enough to be kind to people and think positive thoughts, do things that make you happy, and spend time in nature. That's incredibly important because the support we get from nature is incredible. Earth is always a little higher in her frequency than humanity, so she can help us raise our frequency and vibration. So spending time in nature, connecting with nature is vital to us all.
Yeah, I mean, go out and pick a flower, for gosh sakes. Go get up real early on a Saturday morning at daybreak, pick a bunch of flowers and knock on your neighbor's doors, wake them up and say, hey, I love you and I just brought you this flower. Like things like that, honey, like knocking on doors like that and doing that.
I don't know how happy your neighbor would be if you woke him up, even though you had picked him some flowers.
I was laughingly thinking too when you were talking about the earth being, always Gaia being always kind of a step ahead in vibration of humanity. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking, well, in the past, if I would have heard that, I would have said, well, shit, that ain't too fucking hard to do. That wouldn't be too hard to do. That was a little bit of a joke, to get your vibration. Yeah, but that's interesting. Always one step ahead.
But just smiling at somebody you meet on the street, you don't have to know the person. Just smiling at somebody can make people happy. A touch on the shoulder, if you're around people that are feeling bad or something, just the overall kindness. You don't have to be go out of your way to do it. It's just the small things in life,
Well, like you said, just a smile. But again, isn't it more of I don't know, the thought and the intent behind that smile? Like if somebody was smiling at you from or you were smiling at somebody from a distance, giving them a smile, but under your breath, you were really saying, fuck you, dickhead, and being phony. Is that intention going out there, or are those people actually getting the intention of your fake smile? I mean, is their oversoul picking up on the reality of it, whether they're not awake and connected yet to this person acting that way?
I would certainly think so. The intention behind the action is palpable for people. People today are getting more and more in tune with each other. So most of us would pick up the real reason for that smile and know that you were sincere about it. Of course, you have to put the intention behind your actions.
They would know then that they were, at least their higher self would know that they were tuning into a creepy frequency then.
Yes.
And feel a creepy vibration from it. Yeah. Exactly.
And then I want to talk to you a bit about the frequency again, because we have people here, souls that have a certain mission here. They are called frequency holders. Have you heard of it?
Yes, of course.
That those people are grounding the energies when they are coming into reality. And I want to talk a little bit about, people are always talking about the new energies, this and the new energies that, to my knowledge and my truth, those energies have existed always, but the consciousness of people haven't reached them. And the new energies aren't new, they are just coming into people's consciousness levels, and people can tap into them finally. But for frequency holders, those energies have been pumping through their bodies since they've been born. And often these people have more physical issues because it wears a body out to get all these frequencies. That's why it's so important. It's not just a joke when people are talking about be good to your temple, treat your body as a temple, because if your body, the energies will actually break your body down faster than.
So stay grounded, drink lots of water, meditate, do what you need to do to stay in your zone. You mentioned the new energies, though. Is this something, of course, that the ancients were, and other ascended human civilizations that were here before? Is that something that they were able to tap into before falls from grace and whatnot? And so really this is just remembrance. All this stuff is just really remembrance, into the inner soul.
Yes, it is actually. And also, if you haven't been raising your frequencies, you can't get the feeling of these energies. We are also lifting others up with our energies. The collective, popular term, the collective soul, the collective. It holds on to certain energies, and by doing your part, by doing what you can to keep your vibration and frequency high, you are also transmuting these energies to the collective on a constant basis. So what you're doing for yourself, you're also doing for the collective. So keep your positive attitude and vibrations high, for that helps all of us. Then maybe the person you will meet tomorrow isn't as grouchy and grumpy as they normally are.
What's fascinating is that the more and more that the consciousness of the collective rises, it seems like, okay, we're just all awakening as a collective. It's like, okay, we're waiting for these big mass one event type things to happen, but really it's like our minds are just slowly lifting from a haze to these greater frequencies and greater energies. It's not just like it's some one big bang moment thing. It's a series of little shifts and a series of of fluctuations up and down the spiral, per se, depending on how the collective is, depending on what the consciousness at the time of the collective is.
Exactly. And what is so good about these energy waves that are coming in? I like to call them waves. It's because they really come in waves. The energy comes in spurts, like a couple of days, and then there is a little bit of break for you to inhale the energies, to soak in them, to integrate them into your cells, to raise your frequency, to wake up your spiritual DNA, and to integrate your spiritual DNA knowledge into your physical and anatomical DNA. So it's a fascinating process, really, and we are always giving a little bit of break between those waves, because we have to be able to integrate those energies into our bodies to be able to go on. Otherwise, we get sick, and people get sick with like Ascension symptoms. Flu is a term people have started using, and and all these Ascension symptoms that people are becoming aware of, the changes in your body, the sleeping pattern, etc., etc., etc.
What about this last wave? And I think we were talking about it the other night of, you know, the past 6 months. We mentioned a few people that we had met on here that we would put in that group. And it seems like they're not really having a lot of the physical ascension symptoms. You know what I mean? Is that just part of the process? The more and more, you know, the sooner people, when people awaken, the newer people do awaken, quote unquote, per se, it more and more they're not going to have these same energy shifts to go through, and they're going to have a shorter period of time where they come to realize a lot of the things that took some of us starseeds a few years to grasp, you know.
For sure, because they have the benefit of the collective platform where they have been lifted by others before, and those people that are awakening right now, they don't get so many ascension symptoms as the people that awoke for like 6-7 years ago, or even 2 years ago.
Well, I look at it as in 3 waves, really, because you had the group about 6-7 years ago that awakened, right? And their symptoms were stretched out over a few years. Then you had this other group come in about, late 13, early 2014, right? And they were gaining knowledge quicker, but their body ascension symptoms were really, they were terrible and like all at once, and really, you know, spanned out over a 6-month period, really harsh, where it might have been 3 years for somebody before. And then the wave after them, it seems like then it went down to really almost nil, you know, the physical ascension symptoms. Do you seem to notice that too? I mean, that's just kind of what I've picked up on, you know. And
yeah, I can agree with you on that one. Yes, for sure. For me personally, I haven't had so much ascension symptoms. It's more like getting to know what type of energies are available now, because I have been transmuting these energies since I was born. So they don't affect me the same way as many others. I get those symptoms. I've gotten symptoms lately because the energies are so strong in opening our heart center and making the new soul center available. That there's a pressure in the heart area and the chest area. People are going to the doctors more and more because they are feeling heart palpitations, feeling their heart is pounding in their chests, or beating too fast, all kinds of symptoms that the doctors don't have any answers to. I just had a friend admitted to the ER because she was having some heart problems, and they couldn't find anything wrong with her. So I explained to her a little about what was happening. And she isn't a spiritual person as such, but she listened to my ramble and took it in, and she didn't have to go to the ER. It's like as your mind and your body comprehends what's going on, all the anxiety about these things disappear, and then the symptoms get more tolerable, and you understand it from a different point of view. Of course, you should always seek a doctor if you're worried about your health. You never should just dismiss. You should never dismiss a symptom for just being an ascension symptom if that's really bothering you. You always have to have a backup on that.
You should go to the doctor for any little thing that bothers you, like time and time again. No, I'm kidding on that, but that symptom, those heart palpitations you're talking about from this last ascension wave, it was a really strange, different kind of a feeling. I wouldn't exactly call it heartburn. I wouldn't exactly call it like a real tightness of the chest, like you might think of stereotypically. It was a different kind of a feeling. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do I mean? No, But it's just like with any of the other ascension symptoms, though, whether it's with your leg or, you know, whether it's with whatever on your body that's bothering you, these are things that can't quite be diagnosed by doctors, because you could go down a list and they could match, anywhere from 60 to 80% of this one thing, but not just something's missing. Then you go to the next one, 60 to 80% something's missing, and so there's got to be, of course, like I know Raquel and I were talking about, a rash of more and more people are going to the doctor. And I mean, at one point, are we going to have medical doctors that are going to get together and go, hey, what the fuck's going on here to the collective of people? I mean, there's all this weird shit going on. And I mean, then that maybe will hopefully lead them towards not too far down a rabbit hole to, figuring this out, that it has to do with the earth changes and, and ascension and new earth and all that stuff, but that's still pretty deep. It's one thing for most people to listen and then be like, oh, okay, I'm listening, but to actually get that and comprehend that it's that big of a magnitude, it's hard for some people to get over that roadblock, when really it's really extremely logical, actually. You know what I mean? If you don't box yourself into thinking in a 3D mindset completely with tunnel vision, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
true.
That was pretty profound. Was there anything else, honey, that you wanted to touch on as far as these light frequencies go, or before we grab that? Anything else pressing? I mean, in regards to
not really. Have you touched on all the transmuting energies? In what ways it is done? It's just, we all emit energies. We all transmute energies on a daily basis. We do that in communicating with others. We do it when we think about ourselves or talk to ourselves in our minds. Everything you do, whether it's watering your flowers, it's all emitting energy to your surroundings. So being aware of what kind of energy you're sending out is part of being part of raising your consciousness and raising your vibration and frequency, simply.
So even if it's something basic, like I was watching a football game and got pissed off and threw the remote down and said fuck, even something like that is, putting that kind of a vibration out there.
Yes.
Huh. Yeah, I knew that. I was just trying to see how bad that would be.
You have many fucks to unfuck.
Yeah, definitely. And so basically, transmuting, it's just a thought form, good deeds towards your fellow man, just being positive, basically, huh? I mean, this really is a brain surgery when you break it down. The golden rule, basically, huh?
Exactly, and it's much easier than people think. Just remember the one good rule: don't take things so personally. That's the main thing.
Don't wear your heart on a sleeve and take offense to everything just because somebody else is in a bad mood. You know what I mean? They're not. It's them. It's on them. It's within them, and you should try to be understanding. I agree, because people, when they're hurt and frustrated, and we're all human beings. We've been there. We can act out that way, whether it's passive, whether it's aggressive, whether it's passive aggressive. We just need to understand that person has not formed their whole life's misery to this point around, fucking with your head, or you know what I mean, or trying to come after you. But we so often take it that way, all the
yes.
time.
But you also, on those notes, I also think it's important to say that you don't have to take crap, even though you understand where the people are coming from. You don't have to let them abuse you verbally or get aggressive towards you, and just say, okay, I am such a person of light and consciousness that it's okay to listen to all these things. No, you can have the boundaries. You have to have your boundaries in order, and say, okay, I can't take this crap. You really need to refocus. When you are able to talk to me, in a civilized manner, we can talk again. I understand where you're coming from, but this I can't do.
And all you can do at that point is basically send them love from afar and be there when they're ready, when they're ready to talk about the situation, because that negative vibration is one thing to have, empathy, but then sympathy is a whole nother thing. Sympathy kind of lowers you down into that vibration, whereas you can be, pathetic and empathetic both in one. And, try to understand and put yourself in their position, really just for 20 seconds, put yourself in their position, and understand where they're coming from, and that's about all a person can do in that situation, but I think oftentimes, it really doesn't need to escalate to that point. Things can be talked out, things can be worked through. Now, not always. Sometimes you got to take a break and a step back, and and when things are ready to mend or heal or go the way they're supposed to go, it'll flow like that.
Yes, exactly.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I think go ahead, hon.
No, my computer is just lagging. I have a hard time hearing what you were saying, so I will mute my microphone now so you can talk.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's about all I had to say. I was just gonna say, if there was any more points. I'm trying to think of, anything that we haven't touched on. I know we can get into some of these other things, some of the other facets of it, and more particular on other shows, the vibration, things of that nature. We can get into dissecting more, but I think we've covered a lot of it. Most of it, I'm trying to rack my brain and think of maybe an angle that we haven't covered this from, but
we have been through the Tesla's universal understanding. We have talked about frequency and vibration. We have talked about what those concepts are, and really, when you raise just one last point, when you raise your frequency and consciousness thereof, your perception of life and things change. So for each step upward you take, you actually change your life, you change your point of view, you see different things, you feel different things, you create a whole new world for each step you take upwards in frequency. So he's not far from the truth. You discover more and more of the universe along, and pick up on these new frequencies, because everything around you is vibrating, light and sound, all those energies around you, from nature, from people. It's a big pile of all sorts of frequencies and vibrations you can dive into and get acquainted to.
You can tune into your own satellite radio, right, with the frequency, and then when it all boils down in the end, when everything boils down to the simple fact of the matter, everything is just energy. Consciousness and energy.
Exactly.
It sounds cliche and new agey or whatever, but I mean, really, when you think about it and break it all the way down, well, what the hell else could it be?
It is.
And it's alive, whether it's the ultimate of creation or whether it's a tweet on the side of the road in Finoki, Oklahoma. It's all. Well, I don't know. That was a really.
But I think we have touched on the topic, and if people have any questions, they can just comment where we put the show on the Facebook.
Well, yes, and of course, Sif Gunnarsdottir, why don't you tell everybody, my dear, why don't you tell everybody about your little page that you love so much? And where else that you
my lovely little page.
Yes, and where else
yes.
In the world of the web.
People can find me. That's a given on Facebook, just as myself. And then I have a little page called Rainbow Angel 444 that I love really much, and is my soul project from the angelic aspect of me. where I have different spiritual insights and channelings, mini readings and stuff. I am also in every group you can find Larry in. All the pages we have together, and I have a little website too. You can find it from my Rainbow Angel page. It's all there, and Google Plus as well.
Dang, you're just everywhere, sweetie. You're everywhere. Okay, well, I guess it's my turn.
I'm all over the place.
Where I'm at, you know, yes, is oneness, usness. Yes, I love you, sweetie, so much. But I want to tell everybody out there where they can find me. Of course, you can find yours truly, your delicious host with the most from coast to coast, always with the cosmic toast. Your Lyran Pleiadian contactee with all the integrity and energy. You can find me at, of course, both YouTube, Google Plus channels, Pleiadian Light Grid Project, which we do some kind of funny things on there, you know, just weird, wacky stuff. And then, you know, a little bit more serious, the bigger channel that we use, Pleiadian Express Productions, for topics such as this and other things that are truly affecting the Starseed community and Lightworker community. You can find me there. You can also find me on Facebook at, I've got a page each of both those channels by the same name. But bottom line, if you really want to know where you can find me everywhere, go to a page, not a group, but a page called Pleiadian Groups and Pages. There's a group called Pleiadian Groups and Pages Index, which is mine as well, ours as well. But go to the page, Pleiadian Groups and Pages, and it'll show you the 20 or so different pages we have and the different sorts of Pleiadian groups and other starseed groups that we've created, you know, and included in that is over 30 regional groups. So you can also find me, and I'm going to try to get it right this time. You can find me at our website at larrylocken.wix@pleiadianexpresspro.com. I hope I got that right. And of course, at the bottom of the front page, you'll find a donation button. It's real simple. It's real easy. If you like our shows, you like what you're here, we need equipment, you know, we need things of that nature. We want to try to do this every night and really be a competing force in the starseed field. So, you know, if you can donate $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever you feel like you can contribute, you know, please take a look at that. And, you know, and of course, that website will link you right into both our YouTube, Google channels, as well as to our, you know, some of our stuff on Facebook. So that's pretty much it, where you can find me. And you can find me basically, other than that, in just about every fucking Pleiadian group you could imagine on Facebook. Anywhere and everywhere, but nowhere at all at the same, never beginning nor ending now moment. And all that exists and all that is. Anyway, on that note, honey, let's give everybody, on behalf of my twin flame, my better three-quarters, Sif Gunnarsdottir, I'm Rocken Larry Locken again, and we're going to send everybody off with a big cosmic dating game kiss. Mwah.